Today. Did you enjoy the choir?
Amen.
Well, that's been enliven your spirits. Encourages our heart, livens our spirits. When's our next meeting? Tuesday night. You don't want to miss it. I'm talking about how to identify a cult. You know, the book of Revelation talks about the rise of an Antichrist power. In fact, for some people, Revelation can be quite scary because it discusses a time when no man can buy or sell, discusses a mark called the mark of the beast. But once you understand that the climax of Revelation is the return of Christ to this world. I remember once a barber was cutting my hair, and he said, "Boy, Revelation is scary." And I said, "It's only scary if you haven't read the last chapter." Because the last chapter talks about a new world where there'll be no sickness, suffering, heartache, or death. But before we get to that new world, there are some deceptions coming. There are some very difficult, some very challenging times coming upon the human race. And it's important for us to know and understand how to cope with those times. And so on Tuesday night, identifying a cult, the great earmarks, the great principles that will help you to avoid deception, not only the Antichrist power, but all deceptions that are coming upon our world. And it's a powerful, very surprising presentation. Also, my task is to help you understand Bible prophecy. My wife's task is to keep you healthy. And she's going to be talking about a lifestyle that can add 10 more years to your life. Amen. You know, she is so excited about it that last night, you know, often I go home, and when I want to relax at night, I lie in a hot bathtub. So I'm lying in the hot bathtub. My wife comes in. "You can't believe this. Look what I've read. I'm so excited about it. I got to share it on Tuesday night." If you want to know what my wife shared with me in the bathtub, you better be here this Tuesday night. You're going to be really excited. She was so excited, she was bubbling over with it, you see. So she's going to talk about lifestyle and those lifestyle practices that really help us to live longer, happier lives. Once a week, we do take up an offering. And the reason we do that is to help us pay expenses. Let me tell you a little bit about how the finances of this series works. Nobody on our staff receives 1 penny for the finances. In fact, your offerings do not cover the expenses of our meetings. Each evening, we pay about over $400 for this auditorium. And I like to be very transparent. Our first offering that we took up was $2,300. We praise God for that. But that paid for 4 nights of the stay here, and we're on night number 10. It means I'm about 6 nights behind. So you can just do the math yourself. I'm hoping for this series, that doesn't count the books we give out, that doesn't count the offerings that doesn't count the books we give out, it doesn't count anything at all with the advertising that we do. You say, how then can you run a deficit budget and finance the meetings? What happens is this. As I travel the world, people around the world make contributions to series like this. This series is already paid for. If you don't give 1 penny, it's already paid for. But what you are doing is this. You're helping to extend this ministry worldwide. We leave here, and a week after I leave here, we go to Africa, Mwanza. And just when I was coming in today, I got the news that we have a large stadium that seats 40,000 people. And they are satelliting or downlinking this all through the country of Mwanza, throughout Africa. There are theaters throughout Africa now. I just learned today, theaters throughout Africa that are now buying the equipment so they can downlink us in the theaters. We have these 20-some meetings. There are places where they're renting large stadiums and large fields to downlink us. I think there are almost 1,000 sites now throughout Tanzania and throughout Africa. It's going to be a really incredible series of meetings there. We leave there, and then a little easier series in Nassau, Bahamas for a week. We'll be in Africa for a month, and if you're in Africa for a month, you need Nassau, Bahamas after that. And then from there, we go to England, and we'll spend time there. We're here about 35% of our time, and we travel about 65% of our time. So your contributions help this ministry to extend around the world and to be a blessing to others. So Just now, our ushers will just pass the offering bucket. If you put something in your envelope, great. And I always tell people, look, if you can't afford to give, that's not what we're about. Just pray the person next to you gives a double portion for you. God bless you. Charles, one of my favorite songs is the song you're going to come up to sing. Come on up. Charles, diddle